Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, so if you're here, I'm so happy that you're joining me today. And I hope you really enjoyed the video. So I've been away for a while because of school and life in general. It's been quite a lot, but I'm here posting another video. I can't promise anything in terms of consistency, but since I'm on vacation, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be putting up more videos. So if you're interested in that, click that subscribe button and join me on my journey. So today I'm going to be doing bubbles from Powerpuff Girls, and this is not my first rodeo with this. The past times that I've attempted drawing her in my style, that's in quotation marks by the way, I was satisfied for the level that I was at and the style that I had, but I feel like this drawing was a redemption for me, and I guess by the end you'll see why, or you'll see how it would be a redemption. But yeah, I found this process to be a bit liberating. This semester was the most difficult semester I've had throughout my university journey, and I found myself getting very mentally exhausted and emotionally exhausted coming down to the end, and I just had this longing for vacation, and in the mix of that longing was my creative juices that began to, I guess, harass me. So I pulled up my iPad and I started to draw. And I find that anytime I'm returning to art or, picking back up the pen, I find it easier to do these types of drawings where I'm redrawing something that I've drawn before, because it helps me not to have to think too much on exactly what I'm drawing, but I can focus more on the process and just be more relaxed in the drawing itself. So I am here redrawing bubbles, and this was really, really calming for me. I completed this piece over a series of days rather than in one sitting, which I find quite interesting. In the past, I have sat down and drawn a piece like from beginning to end, but I think it might be a lot better to do it this way, where I am drawing over a period of days, where I just do the sketch today, and then tomorrow I refine the sketch, and then the next day I add my colors, and so on and so forth, because it allows my brain to breathe, it allows me to take my time with what I'm creating, and it allows me to appreciate the process of creating it rather than just trying to get to the end. And I think that is subconsciously, that's what I was doing in the past. I was so excited for the end result, what this would look like by the end, that I would relentlessly and that's not a word, would be determined to complete a piece within the day. But I had no choice but to do this over the few days because I was still finishing up school anyways. So this was kind of like mental health for me, where I needed to take those moments to just do something that I wanted to do, something that I love to do besides, that's separate from school. And because I had this, it was a little bit more manageable to get through to the end of my semester. One of the things that God has given me to be able to just relax and relieve my stress. So I found this to be a really cool, calm process, and I found myself appreciating every step, putting effort into every step, and I think that makes for a better result And I think that art is more about the process than it is the result. Although the result does matter, because the result is a reflection of what you envisioned and wanted to produce. But you could find yourself producing a misrepresentation of what you envisioned or what you wanted when you rush the process just to get a result. And when you take your time and you appreciate every step that you're taking, then you have a higher chance of producing something that fully represents your emotions and your feelings. And that brings me to the whole idea of an art style. The art style I had prior to this journey that I found myself on with my art, I thought that was it. I thought that was the destination. I thought that finally I had found my art style, something that people would be able to recognize me by. They'd be like, okay, this is Sunshine Designs art. And then I realized that there's so many rules within the art style that restricts the artist to make sure that they maintain an image. And I find not just with art, but any kind of presence you try to build on social media, there are rules that once you set for your first presentation of yourself, you have to keep following them to maintain that image so that persons are not confused about who you are. And it starts to take you into an internal process of discovering, who am I really? Am I confused about who I am because I can't seem to settle on one art style, or I can't seem to settle on one style of editing for my videos, or I change my color scheme here and there. I really love pink, but not everything that I put on my channel has to be themified pink. And I didn't realize my thought process would lead me down this rabbit hole of identity and image, but here we are talking about it because that's what happens when you start putting yourself online. When you get a YouTube channel and stuff, people identify you based on the things that you like and the things you talk about and the things you draw or whatever your content may be. And so I struggled for a while because I like a range and a style of different things, but I can't, if I do all of them, then I don't seem very consistent. So I'm honestly on the journey of figuring out my art some more, but I think that this piece was really liberating for me. The process has really taught me a lot about the things hidden in my heart that I didn't realize were there. And we can continue this conversation in another video. So if you're interested in that, then don't forget to click the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.